What is going on, YouTube? My name is Nicholas Kemp, aka Nick the Entrepreneur, and in this video I want to talk about, was the Olympics good for the culture or bad? Stay tuned.
Class is in session, only right that you stay in your seat. Opposition straight.
All right, so the big question that is on everybody's mind is that, was the Olympics a good thing or a bad thing in the culture? First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out to Victor, Danny Dan, and Phil Wizard for bringing home the medals, for their respective regions, as well as pay homage to the B girls and B boys who were able to win and compete for their respective areas. So without further ado, now let's get into the main points of the video. The question that is on everybody's mind is, was the Olympics good for the culture or bad? And I'm gonna be honest, in my opinion, it was not. You're probably wondering, what is my credibility? Well, number one, I've been a B-boy for 16 plus years. I'm in one of the best crews in Detroit, which was started by Preach from God Children of Soul, which was named after the Godfather of Soul. We were founded in 2009, and we have over 10 plus members. Multiple members in our crew have been at the international level on things like So You Think You Can Dance, as well as, if you guys know, Pepsi, she was in the running of the Olympics, and is a very known B-girl in a very short amount of time. So huge shout out to like my crewmates Jay and Pepsi on being at that highest level and kind of sharing their thoughts, as well as Preach being all over the world as well, teaching people who people don't even know of. I'm not going to mention that, but just all of that, right? All of that experience we're able to take in. Why do I think that it was a bad thing? Number one is that there's a lack of Black representation in the culture. And this is what people have to understand. When you look at the judge panel, and it's no disrespect to the judges up there, or maybe if you feel like it is disrespect, hey, call it what it is. But when I look at the judge panel up there, I often ask myself, who are these people? Not only are they non-Black, when you think of breaking, I'm gonna be real. You ask yourself and you leave a comment down below, who do you think of? Some people may think Asian, some people may think Black, but either way it goes, I want to answer that question. You think of Black people.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Breaking is absolutely Black culture, and I know they try to label it as American culture. That's literally the same thing as like when Black people have causes and things of that nature, and they try to label it as this. No, it's fighting for Black rights, and that's the thing when you think about breaking. Number two, how the media portrays this art form. A lot of people in the community call it break dancing. Anybody in the culture that is breaking, and you're probably wondering, what is the difference? Well, number one, B-boys, we follow a certain code. It is a lifestyle. Hip-hop is a lifestyle. And when it comes to breaking, it's about being yourself. You have to have footwork. You have to have tops. These are main foundations of breaking. And then obviously you have to have freezes, which then make up power moves, which they are basically freezes at higher speeds. And that's what people got to understand. It's the misrepresentation of not only the knowledge, but what actually goes into the dance. And this is what I don't like that the Olympics did, is that it showed normal people subpar talent. And therefore it set the benchmark for people who may want to get into it. It set it as lower, and it took away from those who literally spend their life getting better at the craft. We have to take accountability for that. Part of the reason is that, like I said, there's not a lot of Black representation in the sport. I'm talking about Black organizers. I'm talking about people who are the suppliers of the culture. This is what people got to understand. For example, if you look in the Black community, right? I'm not saying they don't exist. Don't give me examples of one that exists in Timbuktu. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is people not being the supplier. So let's say when Black people, African Americans, however you refer to yourself, let's say when women buy hair, right? Ask yourself, who is the supplier of hair, especially in America, and where is it coming from? It's coming from places like India. It's coming from places like China. And then when you look in the States, you got to go to Lee Beauty Supply. It's not a Black-owned beauty supply. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that in the culture, we are not the suppliers. We are not the people putting on the events because we lack the capital. Some of us are not business savvy. And this is where we have to get better in all industries, not just hip hop. It's about ownership of the respective lane that feeds the world. It's not to say you can't be a participant. It's not to say none of that. It's just the fact of the matter is there is a standard and you have to meet this standard in order to participate or you're out of there. And that's strictly what it is. Also, I want to address the subpar talent, you know, that was in the Olympics. The Australian girl, I'm not going to put too much light on that, but we all know that was utterly disrespectful that at the highest level, you're bringing somebody who doesn't have the talent. I don't care if she didn't, you know, if she won the qualifiers. That's not the point. The point is when you look at the footage, it looks bad and it doesn't represent what this shit is really all about. It shows the lack of integrity that the current people on the panel and the organization have because they're not evaluating the talent. Now, I do want to pay homage to, like I said, the men and the women outside of those, you know, situations. They did amazing, you know, and that got overlooked in the media because of all the foolishness that was going on. And I would say this, the culture did address it. They did call her out, but also you add fuel to the fire and people are making jokes. Some people are coming up off this type of content. It just isn't acceptable. Another thing that I didn't like, it gave people a sense of confidence about breaking, like the difficulty. There are people who are non-breakers, who are non-athletic, literally trying to say that breaking is easy because of what was presented.
What? What the?
And I think that's the wildest thing to me. Like, I had somebody at work literally tell me that cheerleading was harder than breaking because of what they saw. I've had somebody else say that stepping is harder than breaking. Somebody who was in a fraternity. And there is no sport on the planet. First of all, every sport has their difficulty. That's first and foremost. But let's be real. Everybody can go pick up a ball and play basketball. Now, are you going to be LeBron James? When LeBron James picks up a ball, it's worth $1 billion. When I pick it up, it's worth diddly squat. That's just what it is. And so, like, we have to be real with ourselves. You probably know one of many people who are B-boys and B-girls. Like, out of my friend group, I'm probably the only one who can say, like, yo, my boy, he competes. He does this, he does that. You know what I'm saying? So let's be real with ourselves. A lot of y'all after 30, I'm 29, I'll be 30 in January. A lot of y'all can't even squat. So it's like, to talk about difficulty and you can't do some of the daily things in your life in order to make you sustainable and healthy, which that is a basic function. To be able to kneel down, pick up a box, tie your kid's shoe. Like, these are things that are normal and people can't do it. And then you look at places like Asia and then you wonder why they're old people. They might smoke, which is bad, but they're able to squat because they sit down when they eat. You know, they kneel down, they work on their squat. You got people in their 80s still able to garden because of how they're eating. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny that people have a standard of something that they'll never be. And that's just the sad truth of it because of the lifestyle that they're living. And I'm not here to brag or anything like that, but I'm just saying I'm doing the best that I can And I would rather people put some respect on something that is, you know, a part of someone else's culture, and it's a very high standard that comes with it. Everybody just can't do these crazy moves, let alone the footwork. Some people can't even comprehend how that's even done. The second to last thing that I want to address is the whole Nika situation. And I just want to say this: a lot of y'all are cosplaying in the culture. I love to say it. Being black is cool. It's a superpower. It's a flex. The struggle becomes our power. And a lot of people in the culture, man, that shouldn't even have got through. There's people who probably told her the do-rag thing wasn't good, but yet she still did it. And that shows the level of disrespect and where people have to be ousted for these types of things. We can't just let things fly. We have to make people pay homage and do certain things in order to abide by this. And this is the problem when you say, you know, hip hop is for everybody. No, you're just a participant in someone else's show. Don't mean you the star. And that's what I think people are forgetting when it comes to things like that. And so I want to close this video out because I'm sure y'all tired of me yapping, right? But this is just how I feel as somebody in the culture. To the black community, my message to you is that become the leader in your own situation. Don't be afraid to build with others. I know a lot of us have been burned. I know a lot of us have been tried and tested with our faith, but at the end of the day, that's all we got. And my thing is this: if people in slavery were getting married at a time period where they didn't think it was possible, then we could do the same thing, get our bread and stop being cheap with each other, because we going to support these jams and events, big events like the Grammys and things that don't benefit us, yet we're not putting money in our own pockets. Now, does that mean you have to have a business? Maybe. Is everybody meant to be a business owner? Probably not. But at the end of the day, everybody has a skill in order to deliver to the marketplace, because I'm a firm believer in God, and God gave us the ability to create. And therefore, everybody having a brain has the ability to create their own situation. With that being said, be the leader in your own rescue. Build with people who look like you. Don't be afraid to even go outside the circle too, but control the narrative so that you can bring wealth back to your people. And if one of us do that and build trust, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but it is what it is. It's the sacrifice that we make in order to be great. I'm Nick the Entrepreneur. I'm also known as B-Boy Kemp of God Children of Soul. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I know it's different than my business content and anything like that, but if you have any thoughts, feel free to share them down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Album and problems release. You sharpen your bars and set the bar, and the problems should cease. This never will happen on terrain like I'm riding a Jeep. Y'all wanna be popular.